Welcome to AP World History. Follow along as we go through Chapter 1, looking at the origins of man and also the early civilizations. As far as the first humans are concerned, there was a famous paleoanthropologist named Louis Leakey who discovered some human remains in the Rift Valley and claimed that that was the origin of man. Most anthropologists and archaeologists seem to have accepted that theory. Prehistory is that history that we have on Earth before written language. In terms of early discoveries, archaeologists started excavating in the 19th century looking for the answers to the human existence. And the slides here show some of the places they've excavated. In terms of the stages of early human development, some experts say that 4 million BCE is when man arrives on the scene. This early stage of mankind, the Paleolithic period, is going to last until about 10,000 BCE. And they were using stone implements, living a very nomadic existence. BC and AD and CE, you'll see these on the AP exam. BC used to mean, or does mean, before Christ. They changed it to BCE, before the Common Era, to accommodate non-believing crowd, and so they wanted to have their own way of dating history, and so they have BCE and CE, the Common Era or the Current Era. The Paleolithic era age, primarily the stone tools and people living in small bands, characteristic of this particular period. Very nomadic, following the animals and living off of animals and gathering what they could from the environment. Hominids are what we are. We are two-legged primates, chimpanzees, gorillas, and so forth. Australopithecines were the first reported humans, according to archaeologists. And they had detached thumbs. Homo habilis is found in eastern Africa, and again using stone tools, nomadic, small bands. Some of the early humans left certain artifacts, paintings in caves, because they used it for shelter. They also painted some of the animals that they hunted. Why they did this, maybe it was to honor the animals or to worship them. Your guess is as good as mine. Homo erectus, a man becoming more upright, again a biped, seems to have larger and more varied tools, migrated from Africa to Europe and Asia. During this time, Homo erectus discovers fire, about 500,000 BCE. Are we all Africans under the skin? Perhaps. The radiation theory seems to suggest that we originated from Central Africa and radiated out from there. The parallel evolutionary theory seems to suggest that man developed independently at several locations. Homo sapiens, of this group, the Neanderthals and Cro-Magnons, are going to be present in Europe. Again, this group lived in caves, small tents, small communities, had clothing made from skins of the animals that they hunted. They're not going to last, apparently. perhaps because they couldn't adjust to the changing environment. And they're going to be supplanted by Cro-Magnons, which literally means wise human, and apparently they had larger brains um, and more sophisticated tools. The last ice stage is going to end about 10,000 BCE, which is going to give more area for man to habitate. Neolithic era is going to take place, and this is going to start about 10,000 BCE, and it literally means New Stone Age. And that will go to about 4,000 BCE, and there's going to be a gradual shift from this nomadic lifestyle to a more sedentary, stationary area, domesticating certain crops and livestock. The agricultural revolution is pretty significant because man is going to start developing city-states, supporting a larger population. The farming is going to be slash and burn, clear off the material by burning it off and then planting in those areas. There are some characteristics of this agricultural revolution. Certainly more people, more permanent dwellings, slash and burn, more time spent growing food and raising livestock. Why does this occur in several places? Perhaps they shared information among the different groups. Why do some archaeologists believe that women were the first farmers? Some evidence seems to suggest that they were the ones responsible for gathering roots and berries and so forth. As far as the early settlements are concerned, Jarmo there's some evidence that man existed about 9,000 BCE in a permanent dwelling in Iraq, and they were growing wheat. Catalhoik, found in modern Turkey, supported about 6,000 inhabitants, cultivated a variety of crops, had a division of labor, and that is different people doing different things, engaged in trade, had a religion and a small military force. This is another drawing of Catalhoik. Why is the Neolithic Revolution a turning point in human history? Again, the development of cities. And that's going to, as the cities develop, so goes civilization. What were some of the characteristics of the early civilizations? Well, they seem to revolve around several things. Of course, more cities, specialized labor. You have government and religion, different institutions to make the society work. They kept records, usually in a written form in most of the civilizations, and they are going to use more advanced tools. Silvus is the root for citizen, so civilization, again, citizens related to cities. Cuneiform is the form of writing that's going to develop in Mesopotamia, and this is going to be the first writing. And there will be other civilizations that develop their own specialized writing. It was a way to pass down wisdom. Here's an example of some of the cuneiform. Not all things were good with civilization. Women are going to be more subordinated to men. Disease is going to be prevalent when you have more people living together. Crime, war, greed, those kinds of things when people are sharing the same spaces. Not only that, elders are not seen quite as valuable because they can't do the heavy lifting, the raising of crops. Also, we'll see that in most of these instances, the civilizations have an adverse effect on the environment. Flooding, deforestation, erosion, overuse of land, and also the institution of slavery will develop. The Tigris-Euphrates is where we'll be looking at first. They seem to be the first for a lot of different things, and we'll look at them as well as the three other civilizations in the second part. And we'll stop right there.